What is going on, BenchWarmers? Welcome back to another episode where we have a lot to go over, from drop points at home, from referees obviously showing who they're rooting for, and probably the best game of the season that we've witnessed as of yet. All that and more, all within this episode. But before we get into all that, please don't forget to give us a like, hit the subscription, hit the notification bell so you know we have new content coming out. Please leave a review and a comment, because it does go a very long way to continue helping us get more exposure. And don't forget, come share your voice here in the bench. All that can be found down below in the description. So without further ado, I think I'm kind of ready to get into it, man. There's a lot to kind of go over. I'm excited, but I do want to start off and just check in on how you guys are doing, because my man over here looks like he's about to die from an allergic reaction right now or something. You good, bro?
I'm good. I have allergies year round, so when my eye starts itching, that's it. I can't control myself.
But other than that, how are you guys? Everything, Nick, I'm sure you're ecstatic right now.
Well, I told Marco this earlier. So yesterday, I was walking maybe like, let's say 6 p.m., 5 p.m. at home, and I stubbed my toe on a pineapple.
On a pineapple?
On a pineapple. It was on the floor.
I think it's a Spanish thing.
The pineapple was on the floor. I stubbed my toe, hurt a little bit. I move on, right? I say an hour later, I get up from my room to go get a water bottle. The lights weren't on, so I go get the water bottle. And I walk back, and I stub my toe again on the fucking pineapple. That time, it was probably the worst stub toe I've ever gotten. I let out the craziest scream ever. I go on, pain removes a minute, 2 minutes later. I'm fine. I go to school. I'm walking fine. I'm at school perfectly fine. I go home. Actually, I didn't go home. I got an Uber. I went into work. Right, I'm still fine. About like 20 to 30 minutes into work, I start getting the most excruciating pain I've ever felt.
On your fucking toe?
On my stub toe. And it's purple and swollen. But the only reason why it's not hurting because I iced the hell out of it and I took Advil. Well, yes, that's how my day went.
Wait, what? I kind of want to see your toe right now. Can I see it?
No, you don't want to see my toe.
I really want to see it.
No. He's got a fetish, bro.
Anyone who doesn't, you don't want to see my toes.
We usually...
Do you have like little claws?
You don't want to see my toes.
It's all good, bro. Look, have you seen Shaq's feet?
Oh,
no, I haven't.
It's like this.
Yeah, they're like fucking like chicken feet.
Like he's the athlete. But you don't want to see my toes.
I just kind of want to see the black and blue, honestly.
It's not as like terrible as you seem. It's just I told Marco, like, you like, let's say laces your nail, right? Like right here.
Yeah.
That's where it's like a little purple.
Oh, so you probably push your nail in or something.
Exactly. So
push your nail in, or this.
First
the
of all,
top
why
part
are
of
you
your
picking a
nail.
pineapple?
I don't know. My mom bought pineapples and it's in a bag. So one pineapple is standing and the other is like falling down.
Oh,
and so I hit the pineapple that's on its side.
Damn, that sucks.
Like on a fucking
Twice.
pineapple. Like you probably think like a table or a fucking wall.
So what do you go to the doctor? I broke my toe. How'd you do it? Keep the pineapple. By
Fucking
mistake.
pineapple, bro.
That should be a title of this episode. Damn pineapples. Wow. All right. Damn. That's crazy, bro.
I mean, he usually hopped on the car and like, yo, how you been? I was like, yeah, all right. And then we'd like talk about anything. But this time he was like, man. I'm like, what happened? He tells me the story. I'm like, cool. I mean, I understand that it could. Always, if it's not a pineapple, it would be a watermelon, because those are two fruits that are always on the ground. At least in my household.
I mean, in nature, yes.
No. But even at home, again, that's what I said. It might be a Spanish thing.
You guys
but at least in my household, there's always or pineapple or watermelon on the ground.
You guys must have some really clean ass floors.
I mean, they both fruits get peeled.
Yeah, but
But still,
I don't know. I'm just using.
if it's on the floor, that means you just gotta pick it up and wash it again. Just leave it on the counter.
A fucking pineapple.
It rolls over. It can,
I don't know. I'm just laughing.
Great.
My man has watermelon and pineapples ready to go, and I'm so confused. I'm still
not ready to go. They're on the ground, but still.
I'm still having this guy kicking a pineapple to begin with.
I always stub my toe as well. I always stub it every single time, whether it's on like the edge of my bed or just walking and I just stub my toe onto the edge of the table leg. It's every single time I fucking stub my toe, man.
You have strong toes then now, at least.
Not enough for a pineapple though.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, I think with Nico's lovely pineapple story, I think we can continue and get into today's episode.
Please.
You guys are good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, what's up right now? That's like now, just like. All right. So let's kick it off with Thursday's game, which was Arsenal versus Wolves. Arsenal coming back from behind for the first time under Arteta and beating Wolves at the death 2-1. For this game, the only two people who got the prediction right were, hold on, Marco, myself, right? Yep, Marco, myself, because everybody else has a draw and a loss. So you can give us,
Hey, I got the scoreline, just the wrong teams.
you can give us each a point, by the way. So,
Thank you.
But yeah, man, look, Marco, anything you want to start off with this game before we get it, get more into it?
The one
does some talking
thing,
points on it.
the only thing that I'll take and you can discuss after is I love the fact that we never put our hands down
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole game, even though their goal came off an error of not looking up, not knowing where the goalkeeper was, who was behind you, that kind of stuff. The team really didn't look like they put their hands down. They were always attacking, and there was always an attacking threat.
Mm-hmm.
It does suck that Laka did miss a lot of chances. He won too many, but
yeah.
he was the reason why. He was the reason why we ended up winning the game at the end of the day, because he never putting his hands down. He never stopped trying, and that's basically what I took out of this game. Of course, there's flaws.
Yeah.
You have issues here and there, but that's the one thing that I want to focus on. Is in the past we've seen it. We go down early, and it takes us a while to get back. Right. This one I really didn't feel it that way. I felt like, all right, we fucked up. Come on, let's start moving. Let's see how we can turn this shit around, make it a 1-1, and then end up trying to win it. And we did. And bro, those last 10 minutes, I was laying down. I just had gotten home. I was like, let me watch the game. I watched the game laying down, and for both goals, I jumped out of my bed.
But you watched it laying down like in bed?
I watched like I'm leaning against the back of
Okay.
my bed.
I thought you were like laying down like you want to go to
Like
sleep.
no, like
how do you do
no,
that?
no,
like,
no.
damn.
I'm kind of like this. I'm kind of like this.
No, yeah,
like
I see.
pillow, whatever, just feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
And I see it, bro. I'm a big guy, but bro, I was up in 2 seconds, bro. I was yelling, and I was excited, and then I laid down again. 5-7 minutes later, we scored the second goal, and I think I ended up texting you. We ended up sending some voicemails, and your voice was gone.
Yeah, dude, my voice is gone. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Again, best thing I can take out of this is that we didn't put our hands down.
Yeah, man, I have to 100% agree with you on that. That was probably the biggest takeaway from anybody, from an Arsenal perspective, is that usually, like you said in the past, we go down and there's no fight. We just more blaming each other, more fighting in game. But looking back at the cameras, because like now they started this new Ramsdale camera, so they show how he reacts during the game, and they showed.
I love his reactions.
Oh, I love it, but they showed the instance where Gabriel made the bad pass and the way he responded to that, and it wasn't like, oh, you fucked up. Like it wasn't berating him. It was more like, all right, like you said, let's get this going now. Let's get the ball moving. And I honestly would say we dominated for the most part of that game. There were a few instances where Wolves could have hurt us.
Oh yeah,
Jimenez and Neto missed some pretty good opportunities, I would say. But aside from that, Odegaard and to me, Partey were just phenomenal. Partey has really come into his own, especially now with the tactical switch that we've seen in the formation, where Xhaka isn't the one sitting next to Partey anymore. He's actually the advanced left midfielder, which isn't his strong suit, but he's still doing it fairly well, which is kind of a good thing. So an upgrade to that is only going to make us better. But Partey being that main guy in the middle, if you look at all I'll try to get one for you to put on the video or something, but there's like a passing network and everything starts from Partey right in the middle of the field. He's just kind of like, I guess I always thought Partey being the wrong type of player. I always thought he was going to be our Vieira, like our box-to-box, run-through kind of player. But
breakup play. He's
not that player, though. He is, and I'm not going to take the credit for this. I heard it on another podcast, Arsenal podcast. I forget which one it was, either Arsenal Vision podcast or Ars Blog. But he's like an overgrown, not to this extent, but like a Santi Carzola, and the fact that he can play in tight spaces and get out of it very good. And he's really, really becoming his own player now, and he's going to control that midfield. So to me, those are the two standout players. But when the game changed, it changed when who I think is the best finisher on our team, Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe. Look, I told you before, I think this could be his monster reborn where he could become revived again. This game was a clear example of what he does bring to the team. when he's on it, he's on it. Kind of like he's a lottery player. When he's on it, he's on it. When he's not, he's really fucking not. And he's
When you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, you're wrong.
yeah, and it's those the instances where he's too good is too far in between that doesn't justify starting him. But with the comments that Arteta made, that we're seeing Pepe like the brand new energy after AFCON. He looks hungry. He looks motivated. He's a brand new player, and the way he's been playing, at least this game, I saw the energy. And the one thing that he does have over everybody else at the club right now, he is our best finisher. In front of goal, I would rather have him over anybody else to put the ball behind the net. He's just lethal. And if you saw that goal, man, holy shit. Like to get it to catch on the spin like that and still slot it.
Lacazette had like 3 of them that's in game, and he wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean Pepe, I think is our best finisher. I hope he deserves a start. Gives Saka a break here and there, but yeah, the key performance players to me were Partey and Odegaard. Odegaard completely controlled it as far as picking up the passes, thinking it over, creating opportunities. But what really brought the attacking threat was when Arteta changed it, put on Nketiah, put on
Back 3.
went to a back 3, put on what's his name? Pepe and what's he throw on?
Nketiah, Pepe. That's it. Oh, and
I'm drawing a blank right now. But I'm drawing a blank right now.
Tavares.
Oh yeah, Tavares for Tierney because he came out with a cramp. But yeah, man, overall, very, very good performance. Huge 3 points for Arsenal. Credit to it sucks that it's not Lacazette goal. It went down as an own goal, but you have to give him credit for that because
that ball is going out.
Hustled. He hustled his ass off in that game. So, huge 3 points. I was expecting 4 out of these 2 games. We got 6, more than what I expected. So that gives us that push for top 4. The run is even stronger now at this point. So
yep, I see the light.
Yeah, overall, extremely happy. Wolves, however, on the back of that loss, they also faced West Ham. I think it was on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Right. And they lost 1-0.
Antonio.
It's that keeps West Ham's hopes for top 4 nice and strong alive. They're currently tied with Arsenal. They do have all their games played at the moment, however.
Not sure what Bruno Lage was thinking for that West Ham game because he did a lot of rotation.
I mean, dude, they literally had 3 days.
I mean, I get it.
3 days from the Arsenal game, and that game came down to the wire. Like that was a hard fought game both times. So both players were exhausted at this point. So I'm not surprised he did rotation. It sucks for them that the games came so close together, especially for 2
should have been a Monday
top
game.
Yeah, 2 top 4 rivals to put them so close together. It didn't really benefit Wolves at all. And I don't know when the last time West Ham played was. It was probably this past weekend prior to that. So, overall, extremely happy, excited to continue watching this top 4 race because now I'm invested. I'm constantly looking at other performances and doing the math in my head, doing, if we win this game, maybe we lose that game kind of thing. So this is where the hope comes in. Hopefully the hope won't kill me this time. But anything from you guys that you guys
Yeah, you referred to it a little bit earlier about Odegaard, and we've noticed like in the past recent years, like the natural number 10 has kind of faded out the game. Like for example, Mesut Ozil, those kind of players who really like to sit in that pocket and the 10 and just really like to dictate plays really kind of died out. I mean, you don't really see teams with an out and out 10. You see teams with 4-3-3s with a box to box 8 with late runs into the box. You see a pivot with a number 10, like not a number like. On a formation, it looks like Muller's playing the number 10, but he's more playing like close to the striker and actually not really. He's not really like picking out passes and whatnot. So going back to Odegaard, it's kind of refreshing to really see a player like that. Just because there's no really player. There's not that many players who play the number 10 position who play at least in my opinion like really well. Just because I mean the way he dictates play is just like it's very like. A good number 10 is always great to have, no matter what formation, what structure, what system you're building. If you have a great number 10, it just allows you to just have so many options going forward, right? I mean, Odegaard, he's been for 40 mil for Real Madrid. I think Arsenal made 100% the correct decision. I'm getting him instead of James Maddison.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with that. The whole James Madison because there was like a hot debate for between them 2 for a while, and Madison was a lot higher, but highway robbery on Madrid right now. As of right now, if he continues to progress the way he's looking right now, it's a highway robbery. We kind of made out the way that you guys made out with Salah, from Roma. I'm not saying to that extent yet, but the potential I think is there. The one thing I think puts Odegaard to kind of like to that next level while he looks kind of good is because his work rate is pretty fucking immense. Like the way he ran 12 kilometers that game against Wolves, the most out of anybody on the pitch. That's a number. He's not playing number 10 on the team per se, but he's sort of taking that role. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to see this team continue growing, and we'll see what happens, Marco. We'll see if the top 4 is within our destiny. Next game. It's a little sad. And Marco, I'm sorry, but I kind of want to start off with you. Leeds and Bielsa part ways after the thrashing versus Spurs 4-0. Bielsa is obviously a club legend for what he's been able to do. Not only, get them back into the Premier League, but make them actual, I think they were 9th place last season, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which is the most promoted team has been able to do since Ipswich. I can't pronounce the name. Sorry if I'm butchering it. But do you think he deserved a bit more time, or has the ship sailed and they had to mutually part ways?
Oh man, that's a tough one, man, because I love what he's been able to do. It's just that his style of football was so easily to catch up on and to be able to counter. It worked for a little bit, but we all saw last season and specifically this season that due to injuries, and just unluckiness, in my opinion, shit just happened, and they just start losing. And it wasn't a normal loss; there were big numbers. I would have loved to see him there a little longer. But as long as they let him go, and I think they did. In a way, they did. They gave him the respect that he deserves for what he's been able to do for that team. They give him a nice farewell, at least on IG, and then the players have consistently poured out their hearts in appreciation for what he did.
Yeah.
So even though it's considered a sacking, and it may be a little early in my eyes, I think that it doesn't feel like it really is a sack. I mean, it is, but it's not like a traditional one. It just, I feel like a lot of people are behind him and wanted to see him at least finish the season, but they're at the point that they had to make that tough decision, and a head had to roll, and unfortunately it was his. But he is forever going to be a legend for Leeds.
Do you think he was a master of his own destruction then? Yeah. He never adapted.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, he brought a very unique style of play. To your point, just to add on to what you said, yeah, the players also showed a lot of support, but the fans showed even more. What he brought to this team was something that they haven't seen before, and it got them back up to the first division. And man, they look freaking good. I mean, everyone just wanted to watch Leeds, no matter who you supported. So it's unfortunate. Yes, he probably was the master of his own demise, just because, like we've said, he hasn't adapted. And when you try to man mark players and play with the intensity that he required, you're gonna get picked apart by the right team.
It worked one season, but the second one,
it worked. It worked one season because no one saw Leeds play, and then they just came and attacked and just went balls to the wall, and it worked.
So it didn't work.
And unfortunately, they just got battered with injuries, and it was just too much for them to catch up on. But he's gonna be a legend at the club. The fans are gonna miss him so much, especially now with the new appointment that's gonna be coming in. We'll see how much different their style of play is going to look.
Yeah, I mean, well, any thoughts on Bielsa, real quick?
It's mostly what they really said. He kind of really brought the Leeds culture back. Like back in the 90s, they were making Champions League semifinals. Yeah. Couldn't go up as I think 2006. Ever since then, they stayed down in the championship. He brought a culture back. Really, he just brought a culture back to the city.
Yeah, and he brought a different type of football for at least a very small period of time, which is a year and a half. But it was nice to see it, something different, because Pepe was the last one that brought in like that tiki taka type of fast play, right? And he brought that and a little bit more with the way that he played.
Yeah.
Which again, it was nice to see. Problem is that we knew that it wasn't gonna.
It wasn't sustainable.
No, not at all.
But next, let me and I guess end on this game, and one question with you real quick. Spurs has been a roller coaster of a season. They win big, and then lose big. Is this a reaction that Conte was expecting, you think, from his last comments? Or I wish Jose was here to answer this, but he'll be here on Wednesday, maybe. Or is this typical Spurs, them bouncing back, but they're just going to fall right back down?
I have 2 words, and I said it last time: Leeds tax.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So,
I strongly agree with that. Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, if you look at the past results, it makes sense. Connect the dots. Last thing on this, I want to ask you that, but last thing on you guys, over to all of you guys. What do you guys think about this final saying of Jesse Marsh making Lee's making the announcement. Jesse Marsh is now the official head coach.
I think it's the most high risk, high reward appointment you can make right now in the world, right? Just because Leeds appointing an American manager, like English people, right?
They don't respect us.
English
don't at
people
all.
don't really respect us.
I don't blame them.
Kind of
That's also true.
vice versa, I guess. Like people who don't really follow like English football, English/culture, don't really have anything good to say towards England or whatnot.
Yeah, I get
But on the Jesse Marsh appointment, it's just so weird to see an American manager.
I mean, we've
managing
seen
a
one and
English club.
fail. When Bradley went to Swan City, if I'm saying.
I wouldn't. I mean, well, look,
He was there for what,
there's
4
one
months?
right now, not a head coach, but he's amongst the ranks at United, and we're already seeing the banter that he's getting, and he's the assistant coach, not even the head coach.
And I have my second point towards that. He is literally a like for like replacement for Marcelo Bielsa. At RB Salzburg, he played the exact same football where it's high intensity,
he does
high
look like-
counter pressing football. He did the same thing at RB Leipzig. It didn't go well for him at all. He didn't really do well at Leipzig at all. So I think this is the most high risk, high reward appointment you can ever do for Leeds, just because you kind of expect, like, if you're sacking a manager, you kind of expect to move on from like that kind of like structure/system and kind of like revamp the whole kind of like structure around how your team plays. But no, it just looks like Leeds have got rid of Marcelo Bielsa, got literally in a like for like replacement. I think they'll either, yeah, man, it's just, I can't think of a more high risk, high reward appointment ever.
So
Like, this is
I
ridiculous.
guess my follow up to that is this them getting relegated at this point.
I don't think they're gonna get relegated.
Okay.
I still think they're going to get relegated, but it's going to be interesting to see now because, like we were talking about earlier, he is a fellow adopter of the 4-2-2-2, just like Ragnick, another born and bred in that German system. So
That's crazy.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what I mean. Leeds, the way they were playing before, they were just getting picked apart left and right. At least now, if he can install this counter pressing, gegenpressing style of play, they're probably going to look more organized.
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the players adapt
Mhm.
to the system and see how if they can really control more of that midfield now, since they're all going to be in the midfield.
Damn. All right. Well, looks like are you saying high risk, high reward as well? It looks like
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
More on the like, they shouldn't have done this kind of signing.
He's so young as well.
Bielsa
How did
should have lasted the season.
'Cause I know Arteta was the youngest manager at, I think, at 39. I think Jesse Marsh is even younger. Jesse Marsh.
I mean, the fact that these today, I think it's today that came out, so
Never mind,
it
he's
kind
not
of
as
works
young.
out.
Oh, he's 48. He
He's
looks
48,
young.
yeah,
He looks very young.
No, but like, talk about youth. Like you just said, Arteta's 39, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And fucking Buffon just signed another professional contract until 2024. By the time that shit ends, it's gonna be 46 or 49. I can't
That's
remember
crazy.
exactly. So I'm like, people are leaving early to become coaches, and there's other players that just don't want to leave. Or Ibra saying that he's not leaving in
Until
Milan
Milan's win a
until they
trophy,
win a
yeah.
trophy. He wins a trophy,
That's
so it
funny.
doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But yeah, man. So Jesse Marsh got announced. We'll see what happens from there. If they get relegated or not. But that race for bottom 4 is intense, especially after Everton, in my opinion, get robbed. And no thanks to the referees as well. Man City seemed to struggle this game against Everton. They won 1-0, however. But I'm just going to leave it very simple for you guys. I don't want to continue falling down this rabbit hole where we talk about the refs and how they're
Poke the
just,
bear, bro. Poke the
how
bear.
just trash and how VAR this, VAR that, rules this, rule that, whatever. Did Man City get bailed out?
Yes. And I didn't even watch the game, but just based on what you said, yes.
I mean, when you watch it, you probably say yes too. But
Yeah.
After looking more into it and reading as to what exactly was called, yeah, they got away with a huge one.
that's what's
Walk me
bothering
through it,
me.
walk
The
me
re-
through it.
re-
So
when you have to, we can't. Once you start reading into it, you can start splitting hairs and making the case for either way.
well, because here's how I took it.
Before you give yours,
Okay.
I want his idea. Even though I probably won't get swayed, but what are your thoughts? Did you get robbed? Did you get robbed or not?
Walk me through it.
Yeah, they definitely got bailed out.
So it took me a while to actually realize what actually happened. So I couldn't really watch the game. I only caught like the very end. So I heard all the talk about it happening. Once it was post match and they actually played
it down.
the supposed offside / handball
Oh.
situation.
Yeah,
To me, it was clear it was offside.
but that wasn't a part of it though.
Right, but it took me a while to understand why there was so much talk about it. I didn't realize that
'Cause
the ref didn't call offside. The ref just
communication is shit.
blatantly said no, it wasn't a handball when it clearly was a handball. I'm over here thinking like, yes, it was a handball, but they called offside before the play,
Yeah.
but they didn't call the offside.
Yeah.
They called the handball.
Yeah.
They didn't call the handball.
Exactly.
Rather.
It's completely insane. Long story short, Marco, the ball hit him here. In the
Your arm.
pictures, they weren't sure if it hit his sleeve or his arm. That's what was indecisive. But everybody and their mother, including ex-referees, are 100% that was
So all right, all
handball.
right.
But it's the same conversation we're gonna have. Why isn't the ref going to look at the camera? Why isn't he being told this and that? Frank Lampard blamed Chris Kavanaugh for being the VAR referee for not saying shit. It's a huge circle jerk. Everybody's blaming everybody. All the Premier League is gonna do at the end is apologize. And what sucks the most is that this is only making the gap between Man City and Liverpool, who are trying to get that title. I hope they don't. No offense, but are trying to get that title is making it that much more complicated for them. And Everton, who are literally fighting for relegation, it's their club's livelihood. You can't have Premier League players on Premier League wages in the Championship. It's not sustainable. So by the Premier League just constantly fucking these calls up, they're literally ruining the outcomes of potential Premier League winners and who's gonna relegate it or not. So that's all I gotta say.
All that's gonna happen is Chris Kavanaugh's just gonna ref the next game.
Ex-
That's all that's gonna happen. He's
Nick,
gonna move from
If only
this
they
seat all the way
listen
over
to
here to that one.
my idea of what refs should, how they should deal with the refs.
I spoke to my brother about this, about your idea, and he's like, "Yeah, I like the idea," but he's like, "La Liga refs and City refs, they all suck too."
No, they all suck.
Like, they
Yeah,
all
don't get me
are
wrong.
trash.
It's just I feel like I personally feel like because we spend more time on EPL, we hear about it more. Yeah. If we actually spend a little bit more time on La Liga or Bundesliga or whatever other league, we'll see it. But we also know that the EPL one is worse because they are never called up to ref anything else.
World Cup.
Yeah,
No
for
English
real.
refs.
But like that's enough ref conversation. I think we have it on a weekly basis. I'm sure next week we'll have another one to talk about. But Nick, I guess my question, the only one I can really ask you is, as a Liverpool fan, seeing these calls, seeing how it's affecting the title race, does it get under your skin anymore at this point? Or I mean, I look if I'm the opposing fan, I'm living because I hate it when you guys get a call, when Spurs get a call because it's affecting us at the end. Do you get that same feeling?
I do. Mostly just because it's so close. I was actually kind of more pissed on the goal City scored than a ref decision. Like, I don't know what the hell Michael Keane was doing, but yes, I do get kind of like livid on sometimes, like if it's like a 3-point difference or damn, if this went the other way, totally different other situation. Which is I think every fan is probably like that, just because there's nothing your team can really do about it. It's kind of out of your hands. The refs pretty much like if the ref decided to say to himself, I want this team to win the game, he's gonna make this team win the game. So it's out of your team's hands. And at the end of the day, when it's out of your team's hands, there's nothing you can do about it.
It's not. Yeah, the sport's gone. But
Yeah, but
it sucks.
I guess over this past series, I kind of like dealt better with those kind of like I wasn't like I was pissed. Like I was like, damn, like what the hell? Like those last 10 minutes with City, I was like, first of all, the fucking goal that they scored, and then obviously the ref situation. I'm like, I was mad those last 10 minutes. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna dwell on it.
Do you think you've grown past it, or are you just numb to it? Because I guess maybe people are just numb to it at this point. Like, whatever, it is what it is now. I'm just used to it.
No, I think I've grown past it. I've definitely grown past it. Last season, like any VAR decision that goes against us, that goes against Liverpool, I was like, all right, whatever. Like it's just there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not gonna dwell on it or whatnot. If Liverpool I can say that for last season actually, just because Liverpool weren't competing at all. But who knows? Like if, for example, 2018, 2019, Liverpool were challenging for a Champions League and we're neck and neck with Man City. At that time, like for example, away at the Etihad, Vincent Company doesn't get a red card on Salah. I was pissed as hell. Last season, not really, just because Liverpool didn't really challenge for anything. So I guess like
Which there's not
yeah,
a stake.
yeah, exactly.
Well, look, man, it sucks to see games get decided by referees nowadays, but we're seeing them more and more. That's the end of that conversation. Let's move on to the next one. Everton continues to fight for their lives, to get out of relegation. Well, they're out of relegation, but to stay out of relegation. Man City continues to push for the Premier League again. But I think one of the biggest talking points this weekend is the crucial top 4 points that Manchester United drop at home versus Watford. A couple of talking points here. Gat, I'll go to you first and give you your moment on your soapbox to kind of get everything off your chest and your overall reaction to this game.
22 shots.
That's okay.
22 shots, only 3 on target.
That's crazy. Holy shit.
XG, expected goals, 2.41 to 0.44. You're telling me we couldn't fucking score a goal?
Couldn't buy a goal if you guys wanted that game.
We couldn't.
Crazy, dude.
We couldn't do shit in front of net. It was ridiculous. I mean, even Ralph said it in his post game. The amount of chances we created was enough to win 3 or 4 games.
Dude,
we couldn't do it in one.
You guys should have been winning 4-0 by the half.
We should have. I
Like,
hope you
literally.
were squeaking Bruno every 5 minutes.
No, I saw often I was sending that in the group, like squeak Bruno, squeak the players. I'm like, what? I tuned in. I saw you guys dominating. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not gonna watch this. And then every 10
Why waste your
seconds,
time?
I'm about to waste my time. And then every 10 seconds, I'm seeing squeak this. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It was so frustrating. But I mean, man, it was just frustrating. I mean, we looked a lot better. We were more defensively sound. I wonder why, because we were missing a certain someone that tends to make defensive mistakes.
What was the possession you guys had though? Because a lot, I that was the debate I saw people having online. Oh, we look better defensively. Yeah, it's against Watford though. Like
Give me a
when you guys
sec.
had the majority of the ball and all the shots, they're not really gonna have any opportunities
It
coming
was
out of the way.
67 to 33, pretty much.
Damn, almost 70-30. That's crazy. But
Double the passes.
so I mean, look, this is definitely a drop points for you guys. A game you guys should have at least had closed down the first 10-15 minutes.
It was just one of those days. I think just after the first couple missed chances, I think it just got to them, and the players kind of just felt like crap. It's going to be one of those days, but they kept trying. So I mean, at least we can show that we can create those chances. Yes, it was against Watford, but Watford have been looking better defensively as of late. So they did find some tough times trying to break down their defense. When they did, they just couldn't put it past the net. It's just they just need to be more clinical. They just need to be sharper in front of goal.
Yeah.
You know, towards the end of the game, Ralph went balls to the wall and tried out 4-2-4 because he's not afraid to take those risks. And
Against at this point,
and with the amount of possession we had and the way we were controlling the game, we didn't have to worry about Watford getting past us, except for I think the last 10 minutes or so when they had a couple chances. But
Bro, they had a chance towards the end.
to win it.
Yeah,
to win it,
right at the
yeah.
Oh my fuck.
I was like, fuck.
it was just one of those days. I mean, it was just
So-
Bruno should have passed it to Ronaldo. He should have scored. I mean, it was just a lot of that going around.
So
If you're gonna be in front of net 2-on-1 against the goalie, if you're not going to lay the ball off for the easy tap in, you better make that fucking goal.
Yeah, and Bruno, yeah. So I mean, look, there's a couple things I've been reading online, and I don't know how you'd react to this, or how any of you guys would react to this. But the first one is Bruno missed a couple sitters this game, but the next game he'll go have a banger. A lot of people are calling him a lottery player, kind of like how you mentioned Pepe, who I think he's more of a lottery player, like more spread out between.
Mhm.
But Bruno, I think lately now we're starting to see where it's crazy because you have Ronaldo next to you, you have like better players next to you, but there's games where he's on it, and then there's games like this where he literally missed like two or three sitters in this game. Do you consider him a lottery player?
A little bit, not too much, because he's still a very important part of our midfield. We know the kind of player he is. He's our creative player right in that part of the pitch. So yes, he's a little bit of a lottery player. It's just based on recent performances, but even when he's not on it, he's still doing what he can to at least create something from the middle. So in this case, yeah, he was very much a lottery player this past game, but he's not always like that. He does do whenever he's not on it in front of net, he's at least doing a lot, the best that he can behind the scenes to actually get those passes up for everybody else to hopefully get something out of it.
Now, Nick, I know you and I have spoken about this, and not just Bruno, but a lot of Portuguese players like treat the ball like you said before, like grenades. What do you think when you hear this little statement that Bruno's a lottery player?
I don't rate Bruno.
Damn, you don't. I mean,
No,
wait, you have to
no,
rate him. You
no.
just don't rate him as high. As
I don't rate him as highly. I just look at him as a fantasy, as a facade. It's a woozy, it's a wazi. It doesn't exist. I just feel like no, I'm not gonna. I just feel like he isn't the one to take United to that next step in terms of challenging for the top trophies. Yes, he's surpassed Lampard in terms of goals and assists. He's currently leading assists in Champions League group stage, which Milner leads. So nothing really. Overall, an output machine.
So he's a stat pattern.
No, I'm not calling him stat power just because I just feel like United don't really have a need for him. Like, I just feel like if they can replace, I feel like they can easily replace Bruno. I don't think they're going to replace Bruno's output, but I think if they do replace Bruno with someone who can actually contribute to really getting those forwards to start scoring goals, and obviously Marcus Rashford is having his issues. We know Mason Greenwood, Along is starting to kick up. We know Jadon Sancho is not really a goal scorer. But what I'm trying to say is I don't think Bruno is the one to really start facilitating the whole attack where he gets really everyone involved. Yes, I think he has the most chances created in the Premier League. But when I start looking at him as a player, and it's just so odd just because his numbers are ridiculous. Like last year, he had a phenomenal season in terms of goals and assists. A phenomenal season, probably the best in Europe. At one point, I think he had more goals and assists than Messi last season. But I just feel like at one point, there's just sometimes where where I look at, I wish if I wonder if United had someone else in that little space instead of Bruno who can actually really pick out those passes and, like I said, facilitate the play. But that's on Bruno. And this isn't based on the game. I was kind of just actually this idea came up in the shower. I feel like United have a lot of players who haven't adapted to the modern game. So I look at players like David De Gea, a phenomenal shot stopper, but at least in my opinion, he's not the most overall goalkeeper where he's a little late to come off his line. He doesn't really command his box as you want a goalie to be, and his distribution just isn't as good as should be. I go over to the right back. I look at the modern day right back game where Dani Alves is really the one to influence everything, right? Getting up and down the pitch, really creating chances, really make playmaking from that right back position. So obviously players like Joao Cancelo, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Achraf Hakimi, right? I look at the center back position with Harry Maguire, where he kind of only excels in one really style, where that's really a deep block, where his team is soaking up the pressure, where he's phenomenal at. But I look at him as just a weak ball playing defender. He's not bad at all. Luke Shaw, I actually rate him. And then I look at the midfield where, like I just said, this isn't based on this United Watford game just because I actually think United play pretty well. Like you just said, they had over, 2.5 something XG?
2.4.
But then I look at the bigger picture where I look at players like, and I'm sure most United fans don't rate Fred and McTominay like that, right?
I like them, but no.
I know what you mean. Are they players that are gonna get you to win the Premier League or no?
No.
Okay.
So then back to where I was talking about the modern game. So now midfielders have to be so technically assured on the ball, where it's just every pass needs to be threaded perfectly, right? So high pressing system is just only gonna get better and better and better, right? Every player in the midfield needs to either have a perfect touch or not. They're gonna get on the counterattack and in transition. Fred and McTominay, especially McTominay, I look at him as a very technically inefficient player. Fred is a little bit more technically better, but I don't think them. I think them being so poor technically, especially on McTominay, is such a hamper to United's midfield. Up front, I think it's a little bit better. Right, I go back to Bruno. I doubt he's gonna get sold. He's probably gonna keep playing there. He's gonna keep getting the goals and assists. I look at Sancho. He's a good creator out wide. I actually rate him a lot. And then Rashford, obviously, he can become a great goal scoring forward, inside forward and whatnot. He's not really doing it what he should be doing. So it's more like the base, like I said. So it's the midfield and defense where I just kind of look like the player just hasn't really adapted to the modern game. So it's again like I look at Bayern Munich, for example. They have um Kimmich, who's superb on the ball, right? They had last year a player like that Alaba, who's superb on the ball again, a defender who can play in a facility like he can play in so many systems, right? Obviously, Man City, they have a whole midfield three who are some of the best players at the ball with their feet in the world. So Gundogan, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva. Liverpool, we have when Thiago's playing, right? Fabinho is pretty decent on the ball as well. Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Van Dijk is probably one of the best ball playing center backs in the world. So it goes back to my point where United just, I feel like it's kind of weird because a lot of players are young, but they're almost like dinosaurs, like I said, in the
Just out of
modern
play.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let us know what you think. Is Bruno lottery player? What is he the problem at United, or is Ronaldo the problem at United?
No, they're not the problem. No way. I think they're a part of the problem, but I think it's very harsh to really say this guy's the problem. Like Ronaldo has come in, obviously he's been United's best player in the Champions League, getting them to Champions League knockout stage. I mean, the guy's 37, man. I don't think obviously I've been very harsh on Ronaldo in the past, but like right now, like the guy's 37, man. It all falls on the recruitment again. And then it falls back to my other point where it's the players, right? It's the personnel where the players just aren't good enough to play to the modern game standard. Ronaldo, 37 years old.
Past his prime.
Exactly. He's done what he's done in the Champions League for United. He'll probably score a couple more goals, but I think we can all say, I'm sure you guys can say Ronaldo obviously isn't the striker we should be bringing in forward and really leading this line.
Would you have
Yeah.
Cavani in over him?
Absolutely.
I would as well.
Absolutely.
I think he's more lethal right now. Right now, especially right now.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with everything Nick said. As a whole, it's just there's just issues. We're getting slowly better. They just need to make better decisions off the ball. They need to just tighten up their passing and just really focus on their own individual games, and then the team effort will show as a part of that. So
all right. Well,
And then, sorry not to cut
No,
you
yeah,
off,
yeah.
but United do have a superb technically player in Paul Pogba, but unfortunately, his defensive frailties don't make up. It's too much to his. There's too much defensive poor qualities to his game than great qualities that he has, which is picking up the ball, um, picking out a pass and whatnot. That's why he plays out on the left. United do have that player, but unfortunately, ever since you signed for United, it just hasn't gone out the way he has. Because, like again, if he was in his absolute peak, he would be the one orchestrating that midfield, right? I wouldn't have to be saying, "Oh, United need a more revamp in the midfield," because Paul Pogba is that. But unfortunately, I don't think it definitely hasn't worked out. I don't think it will work.
Want to end on one thing real quick for United, and this is how your top four hopes still are at the current moment. And I'm gonna ask you this after I read you off the next list of fixtures that you guys have coming up. So you're away at Man City, home at Spurs, away at Liverpool, home at Leicester, away at Everton. I believe you have Norwich in between that, and then you have Arsenal at the Emirates after that. How do you see these next run of games going for you? Obviously, you had to pick up points amongst some of these teams. I'm sure you will, of course. But how are your top four hopes looking right now?
I think they're still pretty good. I mean, yeah, this was a massive 2 points that we dropped. I mean, when you look at the teams, I mean, especially you guys are right there challenging for top four. But even though you guys have a couple games in hand, they're not easy games
Not
that you guys
Chelsea,
have.
Liverpool, you guys,
And you guys have Liverpool coming up in a couple weeks. I think is the
16th,
first
I believe.
one. The first one that's been rescheduled
Let
of
me
those.
go
So they're not. I mean, they're still there. They're still very much there. I mean, the next couple games we have are definitely tough as well, and it's even been made even tougher because that title race is just it feels like it's going to go down to the wire now. When a couple weeks ago, beginning of the season, we just wrote it off like, okay, this is an easy one.
Yeah,
But
and you have Champions League too, which I forgot to mention that as well.
so it's going to be tough. Just City and Liverpool alone, just because they both need to win. So they're going to be a tough
And
run of
Spurs,
games.
top 4
Yeah,
rival there as well.
that's an easy game.
All right, if that one's,
I hope so.
We have to live. If that one's, what day is that on? What day is that on?
Saturday the 12th at 12:30. So no.
Leave work early, bro.
Yeah,
We're gonna be here anyway.
You probably get second half here.
Maybe.
Call off.
Oh God.
Vacation day.
But
Yeah,
it'll be tough. It'll be tough. It's a tough run of games, but there's definitely a couple games that we can definitely pick up some points.
All right, well, so we'll see how this run for you guys continue. Obviously, we'll continue keeping everybody updated here. Let us know who you think is gonna be top 4 at the end of the season. Can it change? Can Chelsea start dropping points as well? Maybe I want to get knocked out of the top 4 race, but is top 3 up for grabs right now? Who knows? Speaking of Chelsea, let's go over to the game of the year. I would say the game of the year that ended 0-0.
The best 0-0 game you've ever seen in your life.
Chelsea versus Liverpool, Carabao Cup final. Nick, you guys got the trophy that you weren't able to celebrate last year, but I feel it feels kind of like, justice is served in the fact that you guys can celebrate this game. Marco, we'll give you credit where it's due. You called it. You wanted to say that.
Oh yeah, I've always fucking around when I yelled it over there. But
Okay.
I mean, yeah, why not? Fuck it. I did call it. It was gonna go to penalties. I did choose Chelsea though.
Oh, so you didn't call it then?
Yeah, he didn't call.
No, I mean, who out of here said I was gonna go to penalties?
Would you say one?
I said Chelsea was
So
gonna
you
win.
didn't get them. Take it back. I thought you said Liverpool one, but no. You didn't
No,
get it
I
then.
said I called it that was gonna go to penalties though.
But you called the wrong winner.
Wait,
So
wow, that's
it's like
crazy.
if you score a goal,
It's not
either
my
you
fault.
scored or you didn't score.
Kepa decided to fucking send it board. God damn, bro,
So-
it's not my fault.
You should have guessed it right.
That's fucked up, bro.
So when you're wrong, you're wrong.
But I was half right.
No, you can't be half
when
right.
I'm wrong, when
You
I'm
can't be
right,
half
I'm right,
right.
and when I'm wrong, I'm still right because I got it right.
When you score a goal, if you miss a goal, is it a goal or not a goal?
It's not a goal.
Okay, so when you get it wrong, you get it wrong, you get it right. You got it wrong, so you got it wrong.
I got it right.
All right, but Nick, talk to me. Best game of the year, best 0-0 of the year. 2022, although it's been very short so far. Dude, what were your reactions when you see Mason Mount getting through and just missing that one-on-one? When you see Mendy having those
Offsides.
double saves back to back? When you see Kepa coming in the last minute for who knows for what fucking reason, because he's an AKA specialist. What,
AKA?
Sorry. Yeah,
also known as
bro, bro, the way that they were hyping him up on the
Dude, that's what I said. When I was watching the game with Edgar and Eddie. I'm like, bro, they're acting like this guy's fucking Superman, bro. Like,
the
like
specialist-
everyone's around him.
Bro,
Like, oh my god,
he
you're a
misses
hero.
this shit. The
All
first
right.
thing I text on the chat was the specialist.
So let's. I guess we're working in reverse because the big talking point that I'm hearing a lot of people that are bringing up is Kepa. Like why are they bringing him up? If you're a Liverpool supporter, fan, and player, and you're going into penalty shootout, who are you more scared to see, Kepa or Mendy?
Mendy, absolutely.
After that fucking performance,
The game that Mendy had,
why the
that
fuck
was
would you
a
take him out?
that was a
All right, so
no-brainer. Should have been.
Here's my thing. I think people. I don't know. It's tough because Tuchel has relied on Kepa. I believe they won the last 4 PK shootouts, and Kepa was involved in all of them. I
the
think
infamous keep me in
right.
situation.
I think Thomas Tuchel was. I think he was right in choosing Kepa for the PKs. I think Kepa's a. I think
you're taking off the hot hand though. You're taking off the hot hand.
I know, but I think when it comes to PKs, it's different though. I think Tuchel, he stuck with his decision, and unfortunately, it didn't. Exactly,
Bro, he
but
couldn't even
I would
fucking
have done the
block
same
Van
thing.
Dijk's.
I mean, like
He was literally standing
No, I know.
under Van Dijk's shot. He still
I
missed
said,
it, bro.
I'd rather face Mendy, but I think Tuchel, I think he made the right decision in choosing Kepa just because, like I said, he chose Kepa in the last PK shootouts.
I can
It's like Chelsea going with, like, Kepa was on the team as well. It's like Chelsea going with Willie Caballero a couple years ago because he was a fucking PK specialist. They choose him for every single FA Cup PK shootout.
I can
So it's almost
kind of
like you have to make that decision.
I can kind of agree with that, and I do think that it definitely is different when it comes to penalties because you got to think of it this way too. Mendy just had the game of his life, 120 minutes. This dude is tired. I don't care. He's tired. His reaction time probably wouldn't have been
So was the goalkeeper playing against him? There's no difference there.
At the end of
true.
the day,
That is true.
At
That
the
is
end,
also
at the end
true.
of the day, nobody blocked anything.
Yes, but also, it's worse because, well, fuck, I forgot.
Definitely, that's why it's
That's
worse. That's
exactly
why
why
it's
it's
worse.
worse.
But no, I mean, look, at the end of the day,
Listen-
nobody scored a goal.
There are still reports out there that Kepa's ball still hasn't landed.
But look, we're gonna bring up Fernando here because he said it, and it's kind of true. Mason Mount and I think Pulisic had some pretty. I wouldn't say the best opportunities, but it wouldn't have got the penalties if those chances would have gone in.
I laughed when I saw that that miss by Mount because it looked
No one
like
opposed?
a classic. Oh shit! I hit B by accident.
Dude, it hit
in
the-
pro
But the thing is
club.
that you so rarely see a ball hit the inside of a post and still roll out. Like that's it's so uncommon for it to hit the inside
But
and still come out.
he could have taken another touch to set
He
himself
could've.
up better. So the
Oh,
just
man,
Bro,
he
even the
just, like,
defenders started running
flailed.
slowly after him. It wasn't even like it was like he was rushed to make that touch. It was even the defenders like kind of like, oh,
They
there's the
they
ball.
realized,
Let
yeah.
me go after it, kind of thing.
But Nick, so I mean, look, I know we started off with the whole penalty situation because that's probably funny. But what was your overall reaction to the game? The performances on both sides. It was a fucking great game to watch. Luis Diaz, fucking Neymar 2.0, the way he flicked the ball over and the little no look passes, little fucking.
This
I'm
is
scared of
someone
him.
tweeted. It was like Luis Diaz passes the ball like someone's calling for him. Like it's like
Every
hey,
fucking
hey,
pass he
hey,
did, he
hey,
looked
like,
away.
Like, you're like, yo, Eric, you like, it's just every time. But yeah,
Every time he passed the ball, he just did the no look pass.
Like,
Every time.
like every time Liverpool faced Chelsea, I always just like Chelsea is just so like it's just so jarring to play against, man. Just because like they just find so many positions. Like it just feels like they stretch you out. They stretch your team out so wide that they bring the ball into the midfield, and there's always a wing back option. Regardless, where I think Marcos Alonso is shit, he's pretty good on the ball, but they always have a player out wide open. And when you have a player out wide open, there's just so many options you can have. And it's the same thing that happened with Aspilicueta and Havertz. Although they weren't the wing backs, they were that outlet out wide that they picked up the ball and there was just a late runner inside the box. And the whole game was pretty much just in transition. It was just a back-to-back intense game. Chelsea really controlled, I'd say, like the first 15 to 20 minutes. Liverpool kind of weathered the storm. Chelsea definitely had the better chances. Like the Mason Mount one, the Christian Pulisic one, and again Mason Mount, the one that he hit on the volley, where the ball was a little bit behind him. But it's pretty much what I expected. I thought the main kind of key parts of the game was definitely the midfield battle. Obviously Thiago was injured before the game. I just knew like Thiago being injured. I know like he isn't the fastest player, but I believe he's pretty decent at plugging the gaps in transition. I thought Keita actually did a pretty decent job on Conte. I thought Conte, I don't think he had the best game. I don't think he had the worst game at all. He actually kind of broke up play a little bit, but it definitely wasn't the Conte that played in the Champions League final last season.
Quick question, Keita, red card?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd probably say it's a red card. I actually think the Lukaku goal was probably onside as well. I think it's probably very harsh to give that offside, but I forgot what I
There was
put.
so many offsides that game.
Yeah. Oh, also, my other point is Liverpool were pretty much carved open pretty much all game, but I have to give a lot of respect to Van Dijk just because the way he was able to like march that high line upwards. Like I think I saw his tweet and it was like it's so true. Playing in the back line for any high elite team must be one of the most difficult jobs in the world, especially for Liverpool, just because Liverpool played the most high risk, high reward football in the world, in my opinion. And we saw in this game Mason Mount twice, Christian Pulisic twice. There were so many transitions where when that high line doesn't work, it's over. But when it works like a fucking charm. And all it takes is really one person, right? So I think it takes one person. No, it takes the whole back four, but at times I think one person can really bail it out. And I think Van Dijk was just perfect to just step up that little 2 yards more up to really. He was the one that kept Kai Havertz off. I think he was great that game. But yeah, just extra time. It just kind of felt like it was getting out of Liverpool's hands just because on the pitch it was Fabinho, James Milner, and Harvey Elliott. I go back to the transition. Like, come on, man. You got Lukaku running outlets. You have Mason Mount running. You have Kai Havertz running. I just kind of expected Chelsea were going to score, and they pretty much did score. I think, like I just said, the Lukaku goal. It's onside in my opinion. I think it's very harsh to give that offside. But yeah, man, it was just like it was just like you guys said, it was just a fun game to watch, I guess, from a neutral perspective.
What was it? It was
100%.
his shoulder, right? That they called off.
I think it was his
Yeah.
arm or something. Yeah, they call it shoulder, but it was his arm.
But it was arm versus foot, right?
Some
Something like that.
stupid shit.
But my main point, obviously, like I think this trophy win for Liverpool, it probably should spur them on. I think the confidence will be sky high right now, just because a trophy midway into the season, like most trophies, obviously the FA Cup, the Champions League, and obviously you receive the Prem if you win it, obviously late, right? But I think a trophy mid-season really just kind of spurs the team on, just like it kind of did to Man City in 2019, where they won the League Cup against Chelsea, and the whole Kepa situation as well. And ever since then, they never lost a game. City, they just kept winning points.
Well, Trent put on Instagram today.
One
One
out
of
of four.
four.
That'll bite us in the ass. It'll be like we'll lose to Norwich this Wednesday, and then like, oh, 1 out of 4.
Well, I told Edgar because Trent made an interview where he was like no patching on Man City, but they won the league, but they won the Champions League. We won both. I'm like, if Man City win it this year, bro, he's gonna regret saying those fucking
Yeah.
words, man. But nah, man, yeah, crazy fucking game.
Now I go back to Chelsea, and I go back to they're just so drawing to play against. I think, and I really thought about this. I think so. Obviously, in the Champions League, we have Liverpool, Man City, and PSG, right? Obviously, no team wants to go up against them, and then in the later rounds, assuming they go through. Either way, if they don't go through, we'd all probably say they don't want to go up against them. But at least in my opinion, I think Chelsea are the team that no team. If you were to, at least in my opinion, if you were to tell me a team I don't want to go up against at all, it's Chelsea. Just because I put Chelsea ahead of Man City, Liverpool, and PSG, just because I have my doubts over Thomas Tuchel's system over a 38 league game season. But when it comes to knockout football, where it's either one leg, like the FA Cup, or if it's two legs like the Champions League, his football, at least in my opinion, is so suited to that. Where it's just, I think Champions League they can easily go back to win it, just because, like I just said, me Liverpool, I'd much rather go up against, at least in the Champions League, against Man City than Chelsea, just because the way Chelsea, like I said, they're able to stretch the field. It almost just feels like they almost have 12 players, one more than you. Their football just suits knockout football to a team, man. That's really my main point. I do not want to go up against Chelsea in the quarters or semis at all, just because I think if Liverpool do, I don't think it'll end well.
Just keep an eye out for your Chelsea in Champions League and FA Cup too, right? There's other than that. So keep an eye out for them. Those are the competitions that they seem to be more suited for. That ends that for the action that happened this past weekend. Were there any games that happened today to catch up?
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Burnley and give me a second. I forgot who the other one was.
While you pull that up, some other news: FIFA and UEFA have officially suspended Russia and all of their clubs from any competition. So RB Leipzig in Europa have officially moved on a bye, and it looks like Russia won't be partaking in any other leagues, competitions.
Burnley are home to Leicester.
Bringing up to Leicester. All right, and to end it, we still got to do the predictions, which I have everything listed here, but I want to introduce a new thing where we do each week. Not predictions. Like the score.
Yeah.
What we predicted right and wrong. But to end it, we want to do it going forward each week. You could use this as either your fantasy pickup and your fantasy drop, or take it however you want to take it. But we're gonna do player stocks rising and falling. Marco, I'll go to you first.
We don't specify league, right?
Wait, were you not paying attention in the beginning when I went over
No, I
this?
wasn't. I was doing the setup.
I'll go to you last. So
Dormido.
I was doing the setup. You guys were sitting here talking. I was doing the setup.
go ahead.
This is a tough one. I've been trying to think this entire time. So I think the easiest one, player stock rising. We did mention it before we started. Aubameyang.
Stock rising. Okay. I
Stock
like that.
rising, 4 goals and 4 goals in 4 games, so he's doing pretty good.
I thought it was 5 goals in 4 games.
Could be 5. I thought it was last I saw it was 4. I could have read
He's
it wrong.
doing good right now.
Dropping Rashford.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
another. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
Nick.
My stock rising is Mikel Olise from Crystal Palace, who they bought for $7 million from Reading. An absolute steal. And it's crazy because he actually came from the Chelsea Academy, which he's not really a Chelsea Academy product, but still he came from there. So that's my stock rising. Like I said, he's Mars, but just faster. Like he's ridiculous on the ball. Like he creates so many chances. He created this one chance on the weekend where he did step overs. He ball rolled to his right foot and just crossed it in. Goal. My stock falling / declining. I'm in the midst of between 2 players, but I'm gonna give it to. This is such a hot take, just because I kind of rated him before. I'm gonna give it to Aymeric Laporte at Man City.
Stock falling.
Stock falling. I think he's great on the ball. I think he's the perfect pep player when it comes to really building out from the back. But when I look at him as a total overall complete defender, I just feel he lacks something that John Stones and Ruben Diaz don't. I think Laporte doesn't really complement the center back next to him. I think he's kind of been on decline for at least a year to 2 years, because I think 2 years ago he was actually injured. So yeah, that's my player stock decline. I don't think he's like shit. I just think he's kind of declined in the past years, because 3 years ago when they won the league title in 2019 with the race, he was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then, he's kind of like steeped a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay, Marco, you got yours ready?
Yeah.
All right. So stock rising, stock falling.
Stock rising. My stock rising, I'm gonna give it to Willock.
Willock.
I thought of him too.
Good. That's a good pick. I like
thought
that.
of him too.
Scored the tie for 2 games ago, and then score again this past week.
Yeah. Okay. Stock falling.
I don't have anybody.
Everyone's perfect.
I mean, yeah, everybody's perfect.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be super biased on mine, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go stock rising. Thomas Partey. You know, he's definitely helped us transform our style of play, and that's coming just because I've seen him week in and week out. Stock falling just because you saw the early impact that they have had, and then how it's really dropping off, and the goals have just dried up for him. Is Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'm happy to see it because he's a United, but at the same time, it's kind of weird not to see him producing the opportunities that he usually does put away. So I'm gonna give him my stock falling. So very biased in my choices. I completely acknowledge that. I will continue doing that going forward. Also, suck it. Sorry about that. All right. So the weekend predictions that we got right and wrong. Yeah. So for the Leeds versus Spurs games, the only ones that walked away with a point were Nick and Josue with 1 point each. Can somebody make a note of this real quick?
I got it. I was so close, dude. I said 3-0 Tottenham.
Yeah, you did say 3-0 Tottenham. I think Jose said he said 3-1 Tottenham. So well, again, we'll try to keep track of these scores until the end of the season to see how we just do. Oh, Nick, I actually want to say this beforehand. You can do the first trophy lift of the season so far because you guys won Carbao Cup. There you go. All right, as the first one of the season, push it back.
Dead trophy.
There you go. Good catch.
Josue
and Nick are the only ones to walk away with 1 point. Manchester United versus Watford. Zilch all around. Everton versus Man City. We all got a point except for Josue. Let me know when you're good. West Ham versus Wolves. The only one that got a point here was Marco. Arsenal versus Wolves. The only people that got points here were Marco and myself. Bitches. And then the Carabao Cup final. Gat and Nick walked away with a point. Are we all tied right now? I feel like we're all tied.
Josue's on 1. Marco's on 3.
Wait, Jose has 1 point. You should have more than 1 point.
You said he only saw once.
You got the Leeds Spurs and you got the Carabao Cup.
Okay, well then I didn't hear the second one. Marco's on 3. Everyone else is on 2.
Okay. All right. So that's what we're looking at so far. Remember, 2 points is if you get the actual score line correct. If you want to throw scorers in there, that's up to you. But
I still think I should be getting points just because I said it.
Because you got it wrong. Why?
It went to penalties. Nobody had it to go to penalties.
You said Chelsea winning penalties.
I said
Chelsea winning penalties.
I said it was going to penalties.
Marco,
I should get at least half a point.
Chelsea win. Nope. Nothing was right there. So 0 points. Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Fuck pineapple.
3.0. 3.5, sorry.
What?
3.5. That's how much points I have so far.
Forget the wrong team to win? Okay.
I called penalties. That should count for something.
So every game I'm gonna say there's gonna be a goal. I'm getting a point then, all right? That's how you go going forward. With that being said,
Wednesday's gonna be fun.
Wednesday is going to be fun. Yes. With that being said, we are the bench. We're the bench with the voice. Where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.